Well, good morning everybody. Welcome back to the Smokies. Hope everybody's having an awesome morning thus far. We are, like I say, we're pretty deep into the Smokies now, and yesterday was a tough day. All in all, I think I shared last video, the climb is about 5,500 feet in total elevation gain. And my legs are feeling it today, big time. So plan for today is going to be lighter, that's for sure, and that's welcomed. We have, this is a good example of, the rules of the Smokies. You got to stay inside the shelters. So I've got an option to stay at a shelter at, I think it's 12.7 miles, which seems a little light, or I could go to 21 miles. So I'm not feeling 21 miles today after yesterday, to be honest with you. So I'd love to do 15 or 16, but that's not an option that's available to me. So I'm gonna have to stop it at 12.7. So I'll get a lot of good rest tonight, I would say, for sure, as I plan to march forward. So the weather, again, should be pretty good. You always, again, have this opportunity for late evening thunderstorms, but we didn't have any last night. So maybe we won't have that again today either. So I hope not. Hope we stay dry, tucked into that shelter. I think it's called Ice Water Springs Shelter. I've not stayed there either. I've seen the shelter and I'm familiar with the shelter, but I haven't had a need to stay there. And so far so good. I feel okay. I think anytime you're off trail for a little while, call it 2 weeks, you lose your trail legs a little bit. So I've been dealing with that. So needless to say, my legs are tired and a little bit sore today, like you had a big workout, which I did. And so it'll take a day or two to get through some of the pains of regaining those trail legs. And also my system, it's just like, I went through this before when I just start out. There's like a resetting of your system where you when I was in Maine, as an example, I was eating everything. I mean, you couldn't bring me enough food. But now I'm at a place where I don't have that appetite. And I know I need to be eating more food because I'm burning a lot more, but my system I just can't force the food down. But I am eating, but I'm just not eating as much as I probably should be eating. And that usually takes a couple of days as well to reset. And so that's kind of what I'm dealing with here. It's all good. It's not necessarily unexpected. It's just the way this thing works. So it's been really quiet out here. I haven't seen a lot of people. And I'm sure a lot of that could be attributed to the fact that that road up to Newfound Gap, which is really your only entrance onto the Appalachian Trail from in the Smokies, it's closed on the Gatlinburg side. I think I might have said a couple of days ago that I thought it was closed on the North Carolina side. It's actually closed on the Gatlinburg side, which is where most of the traffic comes out of. And so if there's any traffic, it's coming out from Cherokee or Bryson City or whatever. So I'm sure that's why there's a lot less people on the trail, seemingly this year so far. But if there's any people to encounter, it'll happen within probably tomorrow, because I'll be more into that Newfound Gap and Klingman's Dome area tomorrow. So yeah, we'll just have to see what that looks like. But it's been kind of quiet, a lot of solitude for sure. So I hope everybody's having an awesome day, and we will catch up with you as we head further down this path into the Smokies today. All right, check you later. All right, folks, with our first viewpoint of the day, We're looking off towards the west into Tennessee. Beautiful view. All right. So we've done about 4 miles today already, so we're doing okay. I believe we'll have some pretty decent terrain from here on out. Again, there's some ups and downs, nothing terribly dramatic. The very last climb of the day, of course, is the biggest, but it's only about 600 feet in elevation gain. You know, it's considerable, but not so gigantic. I'm gonna worry about it. So we're just gonna keep on pushing on down this beautiful trail. I'm blessed with having the opportunity to walk on this trail. You don't always appreciate stuff sometimes until you don't have it, you know. And after walking in New Hampshire and southern Maine, this trail is a dream for sure. Still got a few rocks here or there, no big deal. And actually have had some mud, sort of like Vermont looking kind of stuff, but no big deal. But overall it's been pretty good, pretty good. So heading up the hill now, so I'll check back a little bit later. Starting to get a lot of nice view spots. As I recall, many of the view spots are on the northern side of the Smokies, which is where we are. And I know that we've got several more in front of us. So let's keep on pressing on. All right, folks, we're at a viewpoint called the Laurel Top. See here, it's kind of lined. Trail here is lined with laurels. And what a view out beyond the laurels. Got a few dark clouds up there for sure, but clearing in the far distance. Maybe we get wet, maybe we don't. It's now been a few days since I've been able, I just don't have great phone signal here. So it's been a few days since I've seen a good weather forecast, but when I first looked at it for entering the Smokies, before starting my hike actually, it looked like we were good through Wednesday. Today's Tuesday. So no rain anticipated, but you know how that goes. But this is a world-class view right here, no question about it. Okay, we're gonna press on. I'm probably gonna stop up here as soon as I can find a flat rock to sit on and have some lunch. It's a little after 11 o'clock, but my appetite is already returning. And I can tell that I am ready for some nutrition. So I'm gonna listen to that call and make sure that I'm taking in some food today. So all is good. Only have about, believe it or not, we only have 4.5 miles to get to our target. It's gonna put me getting in there probably about 1:30, which it's just one of those things. Do you go ahead and walk another 9 miles and put in 21, or do you just hang out? The problem is I know that those next 9 miles are not as easy as the miles I've walked today. So as much as I'd like to do that, I feel like it's probably smart for me just to cool out for one day and get some extra rest and nutrition, and focus on finishing up the Smokies. So that's going to be the plan. I'm going to keep my plan and keep on pressing on. Hope everybody's having an awesome day. We'll catch up with you a little further down this path. Another great view. That spot right there. The spot's called Charlie's Bunyan. And there's a Blue Blaze trail out to Charlie's Bunyan. And we're going to pull in there and check that out here in just a few minutes. That's where we came from. We're now on the side trail that's heading us out to Charlie's Bunyan. I think when I showed the last video, we were somewhere over there, I believe, looking back over this way. And this is what we have to climb. Kind of craggy wall of rock to get up to see a craggy wall of rock, which is what we're up for. That's all right. It's kind of cool to do something a little more challenging. No big deal. Okay. There's people up here already. I may not be able to video. We'll try to get a few pictures. All right, everybody. I just left Charlie's Bunyan. You know, there was a couple of folks there, and I'm sure they probably didn't want me to stand there and have a video camera in their face, but anyway, I was able to get one shot off there in terms of a quick photo. But I had our opportunity to talk to them, and unfortunately, I really don't know what to do about it. But they told me just as of today, like earlier today, the shelter that I'm going to, which I'm about, I don't know, less than a mile away from, was closed due to bear activity. So how would I know this, right? So now what am I going to do? So do I hike another 9 miles? It's either 8 or 9, 8 point something, to get to that another shelter, or will they give me a little grace to put up my tent somewhere, which is clearly against the rules, but I'm trying to follow the rules, but kind of make it impossible. They close the shelter, and I understand why, but yeah, you don't have a lot of plan Bs, so we get up here and figure out a plan B. All right, everybody. Welcome to my home for the evening, I hope. So, yeah, here's the Appalachian Trail. You can see going that way and that way. So I'm not too far off trail, but essentially what's occurred since our last video clip is that the shelter that I was targeting has been closed due to bear activity. Now that shelter is located over and down that ridge. So I'm probably not terribly far, but probably a couple of tenths, maybe 3/10 of a mile from the shelter. And this is the best place to camp. So I'm staying here, and I don't know what my options are. You know, the other option would be to, you know, just suck it up and hike to the other shelter, which again is 8.5 miles to get there, and it would be a long, hard day that I have not prepared myself to do. So I'm gonna stay here. You know, at least I know that there's water, not too terribly far away. I got plenty of water, but if I needed more, I could go. I got a semi-flat spot. The shelter is closed. The signage says the shelter is closed. However, it doesn't say camping is closed. And you know, the rule is if the shelter is full, then it's okay for you to camp. Well, obviously the shelter's not going to be full because they've got the shelter closed, but it doesn't give you many options. Don't give you any options other than walking another 8.5 miles to another shelter. So I'm gonna take my chances and camp here. I mean, if a ranger comes by and has a real issue with it, perhaps they'll also have a solution because I don't see another one. You know, if they want me to move my tent to a better location, I could do that, but hiking another 8.5 miles this evening is not in the plan. So we'll see how it all shakes out. Haven't seen a lot of activity, a lot of walking, a lot of people out here, not many. And I think I'll be fine for this evening. So, you know, the worst concern, I guess, if I had any, would be there's a bear that's generally in this area, but they say it's just a adolescent, you know, young bear. And that's just the reality of things. So I'll hang my food and do all the right things, but I have to camp where I'm supposed to camp and where it's possible for me to camp, since I can't stay in the shelter. So not a lot of options, but I'm sure all will work out in the end. So that's it for today. We ended up hiking 13 miles today, and I wished I had steam to have gone further, and I wished there'd been a solution that would have been 15 or 16 miles, but there just wasn't. The next one was almost 21 miles. So overall, a good day, and looking forward to working the plan and staying after it first thing in the morning. Hope y'all have a great evening. We'll look forward to talking to you first thing tomorrow.